Alright, happy Monday evening, everyone. First video in a while for my new subscribers. I am sorry. Hang on for the ride. I did have a few people subscribe to my channel because of comments I made on a cosplay meme of some sort. People liked an idea I had, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to subscribe and see your progress. I'm like, okay, well, cool. I'll have updates later. I actually have some pretty good ideas for how I'm going to begin that, but that's not the point of why I'm making this video. Boy, do I have a story to tell today. Okay, so as a ninja, I fight all kinds of enemies and monsters and bad guys. From orcs to Japanese oni to you name it, Norwegian trolls. I've fought them all. Anyway, but of all the foul creatures in this earth, I have to say the worst ones to deal with are Karens. They are absolute demons of the abyss. And the worst part is, they're disguised as middle-aged white women, and it's just terrible. You know, if I'm in a knife fight with an orc, I can kill it and claim self-defense, but you can't do that with Karens. Anyway, so I finished my day job, decided to swing by the gym. You know, I did some bench press, some triceps, some abs, feeling good about myself, and so I decided to do some sword practice at the gym. The people there at the gym are pretty cool. They're like, yeah, you can do sword stuff as long as you don't hurt anyone or damage any other gym equipment, stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm there, I'm practicing. Now, when I do my sword practice, I tend to take all of my stuff out of the gym locker, and I'll set it off to the side of the area I typically practice in. Now, today, the area I usually practice in was occupied by a fitness class. So I decided, okay, I'll find another semi-secluded corner of the gym, and I'll practice there. So I set my stuff down, and was practicing. I was just in the zone. Everything is going killer. Then I hear, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir." And it took me a second to realize this person's talking to me. And so I turn around and just like, hi. And she's like, "Excuse me, can you come and put your shoes away?" I'm like, "My shoes? What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I can smell them." I guess I should probably see the best way to avoid a fight, no matter the demon or creature you're fighting. The best way to win a fight is to avoid it, and unfortunately, I took the Karen demon's bait. And I said, okay, well, we're in a gym. You know, there's stinky people all around. I don't know why you're so excited about a pair of shoes. And then she decided to take it a step further. She's like, "You know, they have places you can put your stuff while you work out." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I generally keep my stuff in the locker, but when I do sword practice, I usually take all my stuff out of the locker so I don't leave anything behind when I leave, because I've done it a million flipping times. I leave my boots at the gym, and then I have to get up early, go to the gym on the way to work, and get my boots. It's a pain in the butt. So it's better if I just... And at that point, I'm just like, fine, okay, I'll move my shoes. So I walked over, I picked up my boots, I walked 2 feet to the other side of my duffel bag and dropped them there. And I didn't say another word, and I just walked away and kept doing my practice. And she didn't like this. And she was there was a person like doing like the cable fly machine on the other side of the stair machine, and oh my goodness, I'm there practicing, and she just would not shut up with all this. I was so nice to him, and he was just so mean and nasty, and blah 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 blah, just on and on and on for forever. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is insufferable. So anyway, I finish my practice, and I go back to where my stuff is, and I take my sword, and I'm like, wiping it down, because I'm all sweaty, and, sweat and metal don't exactly tend to mix very well. But, anyway, and so, you want to know what she said to me? She's like, I'm sorry I upset you so much. I'm like, upset? I'm like, look, it's a pair of shoes. And she's like, oh, well, I'm sorry that me asking you to move them hurt your feelings so much. I'm like, hurt my feelings? Like, you mildly annoyed me because I was in the middle of doing sword practice and, like, kind of honing my craft and my art, and I'm getting interrupted by someone I don't know about a pair of shoes at a gym. And, she would just not, she would just not stop. There's some things, some people just don't know how to pick their battles in life, and that's part of the demonic nature of Karens. But anyway, so, she's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm just used to telling boys what to do. I'm like, first, I'm not a boy, I'm a man. Second, you don't get to tell me what to do. Like, sorry. I don't know you. You're not my boss. You're not in charge of me in any way. Pretty sure if you went and complained about me to the gym owners, they would just laugh at you. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it has to be that way. And, anyway, and can't remember what she said after that, but I just about lost it. And so I picked up the shoe, and I held it in front of my face, like this, and I sniffed it, and I'm like, okay, point blank, yeah, this shoe stinks. And I dropped it on the floor, and I stood a couple feet back, and I just kind of like, was wafting air. I'm like, I don't smell a single thing. Like, why are you actually singling me out right now? I don't get it. Anyway, and so I just packed my stuff. I told her, have a good workout, Karen, and I left. And that, folks, is how you vanquish a Karen. Now, see, the most... oh, gosh, what's the word? I'm searching for a word here. The most informative part of this entire demonic Karen encounter was her statement where she said, well, I'm used to telling boys what to do. That right there, it just... that's the entire boomer mentality, especially for boomer women. Karens. They are used to getting their way in everything. They are used to telling anybody anything, and they'll just run and do it. They tell their FUD husband that he should sell his riding lawnmower and get an electric one. Oh, yes, darling. He goes off, drops stupid amounts of money on a lawnmower that sucks. Just 'cause, oh yeah, Karen told me to do it, I'll go do it. Gosh. But see, that's how you vanquish Karens, though. You look them dead in the eye, and you refuse to give them what they want. You don't get outwardly angry about it. You don't threaten them in any way. You just look them dead in the eye and you say, I'm sorry. And you don't give them what they want. that eats at the inside of Karens. Now, I mean, some of you are probably going to make fun of me for being petty enough to make this video, but once I make this video, once it's uploaded, I intend to completely forget about this person and just move on with my life. But her, ooh, this is going to eat at her for days, I know. And that's another thing you got to bear in mind with demonic Karen encounters. You know, like, what is it? I don't play a lot of, like, card games, things like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. But I know enough about them to know some of those cards, it's like, some of the monsters will, like, trigger some kind of effect when they're destroyed or something. It's the same with Karens. With Karens, though, what you really need to watch out for is they are the kinds of beings who will invent any reason imaginable to call the cops on you. Thankfully, that didn't happen today, but I know some other people that have ticked off Karens, like particularly with, HOAs and stuff. They'll make some Karen angry over something stupid in the HOA, and so the Karen will call the cops. Now, a lot of the times the cops get there, they hear what's going on, they figure it out, and they're like, and they turn to the Karen, and the ultimate nail in the coffin for the Karen is when the cop looks at her and says, "Why did you waste our time with this?" And they get in their cruiser and they take off. You just have to be... What's scary, though, is you don't know if you're going to get that kind of cop or the kind of cop that's going to dump an entire magazine into you because you flinched the wrong way, and while he's yelling, "Stop resisting," like the whole economy has been rigged to support them. And they don't like it when people tell them, "No, I'm not going to listen to you," or "Have a nice day, bye, I'm not dealing with this right now." And it's just kind of a surreal experience, because I may sound wacky saying this, but, to me, doing sword practice is almost, I wouldn't say almost, I'd say to me, at times, it is kind of a spiritual experience to me. Like, outside of church worship, sword practice to me just centers me in a way that, it centers me, it helps me focus, heightens my senses and my reflexes, builds strength and stamina and endurance and all of that. But when I'm really in the zone, like, that's, for lack of better wording, I feel like I'm closer to God when I'm really kind of in that, I guess the Japanese would call it kind of like Zen state, where it's just me and my sword, and that's it. And that gets interrupted by a demonic Karen demanding I move a pair of shoes at the gym. And then she doesn't like the fact that I don't do what she asks me. Oh, I mean, technically I did do what she asked me to do. I moved the shoes. I just didn't move them in the way she wanted me to. But anyway, that's all for tonight, folks. Remember, stay strapped or get clapped. Be nice, be kind, be considerate, but never, ever back down in the face of evil.